everyone, Mike here from Tires to Go, and today I'm going to inform you about the amazing tools that Tires to Go provide to get the customers what they need. As you know, we have the real same as cash, but we also have Snap financing. We use Snap pretty much to provide the customers the same equipment as they were buying cash on payments. Isn't that amazing? Pretty much what we do, you come indoors, we get you the application right away, we'll get you approved, and we'll get you the safe, affordable tires that you need and pay it off in 3 months. Simple, easy, affordable. Why not come to Tires to Go, where you get the real, same as cash.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast, Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand, every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com. I'm Blake Anthony, and I'm today's host. Not a lot has happened except for the riots and stuff in politics, but I don't really go into that here. We're just going to keep sports. We're going to keep life simple here, and we're going to talk about those, and we'll talk about that whole stuff going on in the world when it affects the sports world and things like that, because I don't want to get into that politics stuff, but as always, we're going to talk about a couple topics today, and then we're going to get into taking some calls and responding to people in the chat group. As I can see, a bunch of you guys have already entered. Rep where you're from, where you're watching from. By all means, I'll try to get to you guys as it goes on. Try to not to go longer than an hour because I know you guys got time in your schedule and things to do like that. So I try not to waste too much of your time, and I'm thankful for all the time that you got. Of course, I'm Blake Anthony. This is Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com. Make sure to check out all the other shows. Let me put that on here for you to check out some of these other shows here. Let me clear that out. Put that there. There you go. Make sure to check out all these other shows here on Bucks Report. Live on Sports Talk 49 and many other shows. Beware of the Bay, Real Bucks Talk. Of course, Michael Pless and those guys doing a great job of breaking down game tape and things like that. Those guys are awesome trying to do it. Check out Red Flag Podcast, Buck What You Heard, Fantasy and Flavors, The Sports Web, Thursday Night Live with Charles Richardson, which just went on yesterday. And, of course, you wash it all down with a cup of Ray. Now, the writers here, Mr. Tanner Suarez, Nick Citro, of course, the Twitter giant, Jeremy Morrow, Rick Brown, Pat Yasinskis, Al Keck, Anthony Bamonde, Ray Kennedy, Coach Charles Richardson, myself, Blake Anthony, Tom Chang, Philip Swagler, Andrew Faulbear, the Canadian, Kyle Keck, and of course the up-and-coming rook, Joshua Allen. Of course, you can see all those guys and find all their content here live on Bucks Report at any time. And it'd be nice, they hear from you and let them know that you're checking out their content, what you think. Anytime you your thoughts and opinions on some stuff, it's always good to know how they're doing and things like that, especially guys that are new to the scene and stuff like that. I see you guys in here. Ray Kennedy, what's going on? Philip Swaglers, Keith Lawrence, Nickelodeon Jackson, great videos. I see you put up the funny videos and stuff. Christopher Cole, of course, Jeremy, Marcus Smith, John Rodriguez, Joshua Cole Allen, of course, and what's going on, everybody? Just want to shout out. Of course, I got the topics on the side here. Barrett on Brady, Gronk comments, Twitter talk, and Buck's best hype man. I don't think I'll get into that. I'll go into more of the Ty Bowles thing like that. Oh, I forgot to change that on there. We're going to Ty Bowles and other things like that. So first and foremost, let's talk about Gronkowski's little interview with Ellen and see what everybody thinks about that. If you give me 1 second. We're talking about Gronkowski and see what he's got to say.
That must be easy for you to make that choice to go to Tampa Bay when your mom lives there. So now you're going to be living closer to her.
Yes, of course. Everyone keeps asking me, did Tom get you to Tampa? Well, of course it didn't hurt that Tom went to Tampa. and the opportunity to go to Tampa was there too. But Tom was like the appetizer, and then there's a few other reasons. I love the weather, but the main reason why I came down to Tampa to play is because my mother lives 2 hours away. She can get to all my games, all 8 of our home games. Whenever I have days off, she's 2 hours down the street, and I get to see her. So she's super excited. Hi, Mom.
That must be easy for you.
I think that's awesome. Gronkowski got interview busted by his mother coming in, busted in there, and knowing said he moved his mom's 2 hours away. She can check it out. It's a much shorter commute than riding all the way up to Foxborough to check him out every Sunday, which I'm sure she tried to do her best. She's got her own life to live, but wants to support her sons as well. That's awesome. What's going on, Marcus? Florida North Tampa. There you go. I think that's cool. However it is, we got Gronkowski here. We know we've had lackluster. Tampa Bay's had Gronkowski here, and they haven't gotten a lot of production out of the tight end position for whatever reason that is. Besides Cam Brate being injured the past 2 seasons, and then you add Tom Brady, or he's having his own little culture change here, and how everything's kind of wide open, and everybody feels they have the need to be in your business and things like that. 30 boats pulling up on his property, and he's got to hire Tampa police to keep them off his property and his privacy between his family and things like that. I know he's working on things with his wife in the past where he missed camp, working on his marriage and things like that. So he's got his own adaptation coming to Florida, and it's a big culture change from going to the Patriot way and now coming here to the Tampa Bay. And Bruce Arians, a player-friendly coach and things like that. I see you guys in the comment section, Deshaun and everybody. I'll get to you guys. You see the number there. I just want to get through everything I got to get through. Then we'll get to phone calls and all those comments and stuff, because I don't want to get sidetracked or go beyond the time limit, because I want to give you guys your time to talk. I don't know if you guys... I'll do Todd Bowles' interview last. I'll get to everybody else. I got my own interview coming up soon. Tom Shaw won 3 Super Bowls with not Tampa Bay, of course, with New England Patriots. He coached Tom Brady from being undrafted to after winning 3 Super Bowls. I think he's got the most insight on Tom Brady, and I'm gonna try to get a phone call interview with him so you guys can hear him and see the things that he says and what you should expect in Tom Brady coming here to Tampa Bay. I'll have that up for you soon. I've already spent a lot of time talking with him, and I've got a whole lot of great insight on things like that. So if you guys have any questions like that, please, you can always reach me at BlakeAnthony49 on Twitter there at any time, and I'll follow you. Follow me, I'll follow you back, and we can talk. Like, I've been not doing nothing but just researching things like that. These all past since all this thing's been down with the COVID-19 stuff like that, and just flexing my mental muscles on hearing what people got to say in the league and stuff like that, and how things ran and verbalized and adaptations and things like that. We'll go to the 2 Shaq Barretts. I think we'll roll in. Now, what are we talking about Tom Brady? Let's go into the tweet. We'll go into the tweet since we're talking about Tom. I want to make it make sense. Let's make it make sense. Let me clear that layer. Add that. All right. So that's a Buck fan all day. Tweeted out, Josh Rosen should take over for Tom Brady. What do you think about that? Of course, if you guys send me tweets and it's really interesting, I'll make sure to clip it and put it on live so you guys can check it out and see what you think. I mean, see what everybody else thinks about what you said. Josh Rosen really hasn't had a chance to do much in the league, bar you come to Arizona team where you really weren't blessed with much, and you had to deal with that all out there and that whole situation. And then he kind of reminds me of Troy Smith out in Baltimore, where you're scheduled to start before Joe Flacco comes in. He gets sick. And the story, you know the rest after that. Joe Flacco wins 2 Super Bowls, et cetera, et cetera. I think Josh Rosen really didn't have a chance. I mean, and personally, I didn't think he was that good coming out of college. But there's a lot of guys that aren't that good, and they come out and they play, they play well in the league, get paired up with a head coach that calls plays and calls things to their strength. And that's what coaching is. You do things to the strength of your team, to the strength of your coaches and things like that. I think that's what's the best thing for it. Also, a poll should be up as well. I heard a lot of people talking about Shaq Barrett being a one-hit wonder. I want to see what you guys thought about that. That poll's there. Feel free to answer it and talk about that if you want. Deshaun says, "Can we have a Buccaneer way? You got to win. Got to win consistently to have that kind of reputation." Deshaun, I'm sure you can agree with that. What's going on, Joshua Cole? I'm just looking down here at the chat group. Like I said, I'll get to all that and phone calls later on near the end of the show. I'm going to get through status quo, as they say. Where I got? Yeah, Josh Rosen. That's a possibility. I mean, if the asking price is low, I mean, to be honest, if that's the case, then they can just go ahead and just pick up a new quarterback in the draft. I mean, if that's really what you want to do, if you want to find another quarterback or things like that, you can just Coach Bell, what's going on, man? Make sure to call in, man, when I put the phone lines up. Let me know that you can still be there. Won't be too much long. I know you do great stuff on your show there, breaking stuff down and all that. You do an awesome job. I do all that during the season, pre and post game stuff. Coach Bell live in the chat group. He's awesome. I've been watching him for a long time, checking him out, giving his spin. And I just, as always, if you're a fan of a team or whatever, you should find more reasons to come together than versus separate each other, like the whole Winston nonsense and Fitzpatrick. Like, it's just too much now. It's the whole thing now with I guess they want to call them bandwagon Buck fans now. I'm like, I don't understand how you can bandwagon something when they technically haven't won anything yet. Tom Brady, yeah, he's came here, but he's won 0 games. He's played 0 games. He's thrown 0 meaningful passes. So it's really nothing to bandwagon on. I would figure if you want to get on the ship now's the time before they start winning. If that happens, now would be the time. I don't know what your thought would be. Keith, what's going on? Keith Kuznick, Mr. Hall of Fame, fan of Hall of Fans there himself. I called him bougie the other day on Twitter, and I said he was too cool for me anymore. And I'm sure he came in here, he's gonna talk his smack to me. Because I want to throw a little shade his way, talk about he's all bougie now, but he's far from that. It's a good man. I could not think of anybody else more deserving, doing stuff for himself and doing stuff in the community and stuff like that you don't ever hear about. And it's just nonstop. I mean, he's not a player. He's never played for the team, but he does what he does out of the kindness of his heart, and it's just awesome what he does. Bartow, what's going on? Big Nasty. So what were we at? I lost train of thought. Listen, you guys in the comments section. Shaq Barrett. We'll move on to Shaq Barrett. I know he's talking about Josh Rosen taking over. Like I said, they might as well pick up another run. They might as well pick up a quarterback in the draft, a guy that you want, and then you just mold him to your liking. You got 2 years to do it. I guess next year will be probably the best time to do it. With this draft, if you want to get a guy early or you want to get a guy late, depending on where the chips fall in the draft. So let's go with Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett's interviews here. He's got 2 of them. He's got one with Jordan Schultz, and then he's got one on ESPN. So we'll go to the first one that everybody was talking about, and then we'll go to Jordan's right after that. Here we go.
If we would have had James, I think James would have made a big jump, but I think with Brady, it just makes it an automatic contender for Super Bowl. With James, I think it would have been a playoff contender. It would have been still a battle for sure, and it's still going to be a battle now. But having Tom, I think we're going to be over the edge and everything. On paper, it looks perfect. We just got to put the work in.
Last year, you can see it a little bit. That it works when I set stuff up and I got time to game plan. So I never knew that was missing from my game until this past year.
So playing more snaps. Mm-hmm. Playing a full-time role allowed you to exercise all of those different moves and all those skill sets that playing a limited role actually disabled.
Yeah, most definitely. I had to stick to my guns when I'm in there, like go to my favorite move every time, my move I usually went with, because that's my bread and butter. I didn't get enough reps in the game to try all my other moves out to become comfortable with them. I did it in practice, but practice is still different than the game, no matter how you look at it. Well, in my head anyway, I try to come in and do it all, but it's still different. Like, it's still a different mindset for me. So it was just be able to just get that rep and that comfortability to do them in a game and fail in a game to see what I have to improve on. It was really good. Like, You can see it a little bit.
There you go, Shaq Barrett. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, if you're just tuning in, this is Blake Anthony live on BucksReport.com. This is Sports Talk 49 here for you, giving you a couple of the recent stuff that's happened. There's not a whole lot going on now. That everything, all pro sports are getting moved forward. You got the NBA stuff going on. You got NFL stuff moving forward. So it's great. Everything's starting to move forward. So we're going to be even putting out more content for you guys and get stuff that you want to talk about. I'm going to try to get more interaction, especially on Twitter, and put that, like I put up earlier about the Josh Rosen tweet. I thought was a good tweet. And you guys could send that to me and follow me on my social media sites at any time. And we'll try to, and if you put up something good, I'll post it. I'm looking down here at the chat group. Peter, what's going on, buddy? Christopher Cole, Victor, I can't wait for Levante David to finally get the attention he deserves. Hopefully he is a Buck for his entire career. We all hope for things like that, the players finish where they start, especially if they're a fan favorite. But in past shows, there's no loyalty. It's a business, both player and team. I mean, LaDainian Thomas and Lily crying on there. He had stuff left in the tank. They decided to move on for him. Goes to the Jets and almost goes to the Super Bowl with the Jets with Rex Ryan out there. I mean, it's I don't know. Even Mike Evans will come to that time when it won't look good for him. You know, he's a bigger receiver, and as soon as something happens to him, he doesn't have like blazing speed. He's really good and he can get away, but it'll even come to that time with Mike Evans at some point. So hopefully Levante David can stay healthy, and I don't see another reason why he wouldn't finish here, especially if he still has something left in the tank to play. So that was a good one. Welcome to the show, John. Where we at? So Todd Bowles. Well, Shaq Barrett. I'm so ready to move on to the next things. Shaq Barrett and his comments. I mean, he's right. I mean, the only way you can get better at things is if you was repetition. I think Bruce Lee said one time that would you be afraid of a man that's practiced one kick 1,000 times, or a person that's practiced 1,000 kicks one time? You obviously want to be afraid of the guy that's practiced one kick 1,000 times, because that kick has more repetition and strength in it than the guy that's done 1,000 things one time, which he hasn't done all of those. So he's trying to figure out what he can and can't do and what he's strong at and work at that. And he's right. That's the only time you get to do that is by playing, which he didn't get a whole lot of time to do that in Denver. They drafted his predecessor and Bradley Chubb, which is great player, double-digit sacks coming in his rookie season. Second year he gets injured, and Shaq Barrett's already moved on. So Shaq's going to get better. Shaq, I think I've said this from the beginning with Shaq Barrett. He's not that kind of player that's greedy and thinks above himself. He's very blessed for the situation he's in, and he takes advantage of it. He says he's going to bet on Shaq, like bet on Black, but bet on Shaq. And he'll bet on himself because he knows the work ethic he's putting in, and he's taking all the blessings that he's getting and not taking it for granted. He's not taking it for granted at all. And I think you got the right guy in your organization with Tampa Bay. You got the right guy in their organization in Shaq Barrett with his attitude and his family oriented, and he's much into his family and his kids and his wife. And he treats work as work, because it's really that. You can say it's fun, but it's a business too, and you don't realize that till that situation comes later on in your elder years in your career. And Shaq Barrett knows that the clock isn't on his side coming near the end of his career. So, yes, I know, Josh, the call is off. I have it off till I get through the thing. I'll let you know that when it's up, and we'll talk about everything that I talked about. I got one more thing to go in with Todd Bowles, and it'll be up, Josh. Just hang in there, buddy. I know you always want to call in. And I think that's just it. I mean, it's awesome that he has that kind of attitude, had that success, took the I'm trying to brain fart, franchise tag. And then, people say, well, I know you're not too happy about the franchise tag. You said, well, I wanted to be here longer, long term, but it's more money than I ever made in my entire life. So I'm taking the blessings as it is. And they'll know they're going to work out a longer team contract, and Shaq's not going to try to beat the team over the head in the contract. He wants to play here, wants to be here. And I think that's awesome that he feels that way. So with all that being said, again, if you're just tuning in, this is Blake Anthony live on Sports Talk 49 right here on BucksReport.com. Follow all the media, the 65,000 on Facebook. Follow me on social media. Follow everybody else on Bucks Report on social media, and let us know what you think and what's going on. So that being said, I'm going to move on to Todd Bowles' interview, and then I'm going to take phone calls, and then I'm going to read some comments in the comment section, and then we'll get out of here. Like, I don't want to take too much of you guys' time. I just wanted to get here, get some of this information out. I'm gonna work on getting that interview with Tom Shaw for you guys, and go into more detail. I kind of want to talk about everything that I talked to Tom Shaw about to you guys, but I would rather do it all at once after you guys hear the interview and the things he has to say about Tom Brady. Because besides Bill Belichick and everybody else, I think he would have the most insight in anything possible for him. For Tom Brady information, as far as information goes. And if you guys have questions you want me to ask Tom when we do that, I'll be more than happy to ask some of those questions during our interview. If you like, just send that to my social media at Twitter, BlakeAnthony49, and I can get that to you. But we'll go into the Todd Bowles interview. It's a long interview, kind of, but I'm not going to play it all. I just want you guys to hear the key parts in that interview. We'll stand by 1 second. Todd Bowles. Let me get to it. And here we go.
How you doing?
I'm good, Ed. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I know, just going back to last year, you talked about some of your younger players and you called them puppies. Going into this season, how much have maybe they grown into older dogs, I guess, in terms of just the growth and learning and having a year of experience under their belts?
I think physically they've grown. Mentally, they're still puppies because they played what we called last year and they played it well and they understand what we're doing on defense. But this year they have to graduate mentally to understand what the offenses are trying to do to them and get a better grasp of the game that way.
Okay, next up we have Greg Auman.
Hey, Todd, hope you're doing well. Thanks for doing this.
No problem, Greg.
Todd, I just want to ask you about the safety position, first of all. You got a lot of guys back from last year, obviously added a playmaker in Antoine Winfield. I just want to ask you, at least going into camp, if there's any separation between strong and free. I know you guys use both kind of interchangeably sometimes. Just how you see the position going into camp.
I think they're both interchangeable. We do so much interchanging. The title free and strong is just for the label. But depending on who we play, you can see one guy at one and another guy at the other, depending on our game plan. So we see it equally the same as far as a positionless safety. So we make them learn both. And then during games, whoever's playing, we know what they do well. We'll make that adjustment when the games come up.
Okay, next up we have Ira Kaufman, followed by Jenna Lane.
Afternoon, Todd.
How you doing, Ira?
Todd, you faced Mr. Brady more times than you want to remember. And like most, you didn't fare particularly well, Todd, but looking back and now he's part of your team, what makes him so unique? What makes him so difficult to plan against? And how glad are you to have him on your side of the field?
Well, it's great to have a good player on your team, two, adding Gronk and plus a bunch of rookies. But some of the things that make him great is doing the same things every day and being consistent at it. And you don't get to be a great player unless you work at it every day, not when the cameras are rolling, but when the cameras are off. And, he takes care of his body. He understands the game. He will play the same way, whether it's the Super Bowl or whether it's preseason. He comes to win. And I think that's a great mental aspect added to our team. But defensively, we have to do what we've been doing regardless of who's the quarterback and who's on offense. We got to try to get the ball back and get them off the field.
Okay, next up we have Jenna Lane, followed by Mike Giardi of NFL Network.
Hi, Coach Bowles. Thanks so much for doing this.
No problem, Jenna.
To that effect of what Ira said, how does going against Tom Brady daily, how can that help? How can that impact your young guys on defense, particularly on the back end?
Well, we got to get better on our own, regardless of whether we're going against Brady, whether we're going against Gabbert, whether we're going against Griffin. It doesn't matter. we got to get better from a disguise standpoint, understanding the details of the defense. I think we can take leaps and bounds in that aspect, but playing against a guy that's going to come after you every day can only sharpen you.
Okay, next up is Mike Giardi from NFL Network.
Hey, Todd, I'm just curious about your sorry about that. I'm just curious about your expectation for Devin White and his growth after obviously a very impressive rookie season.
Well, for me, the biggest thing about Devin, obviously he got injured. For him to stay healthy, number one, this year going in, and to mentally get a better grasp, just like the other rookies, get a better grasp of the system going in and take command of the defense.
Okay, next up is Rick Stroud.
Hey, Coach. What do you think your guys are able to do, if anything, as a group independent of the coaches right now? I mean, I know obviously the offense is a little easier for them to have a ball and throw it around. Is there anything like that the defense can do?
It's a little harder for the defense. I mean, not having seen them, not knowing what they're doing other than working out. They can do some one-on-one. I would take it somewhere if they got a wide out or two in their area. And that's for the DBs, for the D linemen. You know, it's hard for people. You can have a gym in your home, but it's hard to have bags as far as – hold on, Tice. My son just crashed the meeting. Sorry about that, guys. It's hard to have bags as far as running drills in your home and running that way. So really, from a defensive line linebacker standpoint, all you can do is work out and watch tape. Tice, turn that down.
Got a special guest for us today. We're going to have our next question come from Luke Easterling.
Sorry about that, guys.
Hey, we're all living that life, Coach. It's all good. Todd, you know, when we talked to you towards the end of last season, you know, you made it clear how important it was and how much you wanted to be able to keep some of those key guys in the front seven whose contracts were coming up, how to keep that defensive line together. You guys were obviously able to do that in the offseason. This offseason being so unique and the things you can't do, how important do you think it is for this unit to be able to build on the success they had down the stretch last year by keeping things together, both coaching and roster-wise, to be able to continue to build on that?
Well, with the kind of year we're having right now, I think it's very important to have chemistry and continuity. Obviously, we got to continue to communicate and get back together on the field and not do everything by Zoom or virtually and those type of aspects. But to have everybody back from the same defense that ended last year is important from a communication and continuity standpoint.
Next up is Kevin Lewis.
Coach, thanks for doing this. What are your reactions, emotions as somebody who's been a head coach in the league to the NFL kind of tweaking or talking about changes to the Rooney Rule this offseason?
Well, they're talking about it, which is a great thing. I don't think we have the right answer. I think every coach will sit here and tell you they want to be hired on their own merit and off the things they've done, not because of the color of their skin. But the fact that they're talking about it is encouraging. You know, I don't know how we're going to fix it, but it's being talked about and addressed, and I'm sure they'll get it right.
Next up is Steve Isbitz from Joe Bucks Fan.
Coach, Vita Vea played about 2/3 of the snaps last season. Is that sort of your target for him, or do you look for him to maybe play more this year and get more involved? And also, on these Zoom meetings, as silly as it might sound, is there anybody who stands out as being really on the ball in the meetings and extra sharp and leading?
Well, Vita, depending on the game plan, he'll play a lot more this year. Obviously, he played a lot last year, too. Sometimes drive linger on and you want to give guys a break, but we don't have that play count right this early. And for me to say somebody stands out in a Zoom meeting, I would probably be lying to you right now to make up anything, so I won't even go there.
Okay, next up is Karen Loftus.
Am I unmuted? Okay. Hey, Coach. Sean Murphy-Bunting had said when we had a Zoom call with him that he wanted to see this defense get more takeaways. Is that something that you have tabbed as a priority for you guys, your entire defense as well?
I mean, it's a priority every year. You know, the biggest thing you can do is give the ball back to the offense and give them extra possessions. So, you know, it's one of the things we work on every week, and we'll continue to do that.
Okay, next up's Greg Auman.
Hey, Todd, before all this happened with Brady and Gronkowski, if you go back to even late February. Coach Arians had talked about his confidence in your side of the ball in terms of being maybe even the side of the ball he was more excited about. How much confidence do you have about that side of the ball being a reliable part of the team, being a defense that can close out wins this season?
Only a couple more minutes, folks, and I'll be right back.
Well, again, you start over every year. I know we ended up pretty good, and we played a few good games ending out the season, but every year is a new year. You can't rely on the past. But the fact that we got the same guys back and there's some continuity, and the fact that they're starting to get it mentally with each other as well as the opposition is encouraging. But again, we got to get everybody in and start that over again.
Okay, next up is Jenna Lane.
There it is, everybody. Todd Bowles. So I told you I wasn't going to play the whole thing. I just wanted you guys to hear some few things that he said that I wanted to speak on. And then I know you guys are going to call and talk about it too. Phone lines are open, 727-475-1882. It's open. I'll give it. When you call in, I'll tap you in and then tap you into the live feed so everybody can hear you clearly. I think the key part that he said is there's no way that you're going to see on a Zoom meeting and tell me that somebody's looking good versus a Zoom meeting. And before I forget to, make sure to look out for my interview and email me any questions that you might want me to ask and that I can't think of myself to Coach Tom Shaw, 3-time Super Bowl winning with the New England Patriots, coached with Mike Ditka in New Orleans and the Saints, started his career with Florida State. Can't remember if I posted that or not. I want to make sure, so I'm always trying to roll through everything. But yeah, make sure to shoot me any questions and stuff like that you have that you want me to ask for the interview that you guys will have here the next time I go live or sometime in between then. If you guys have any questions that you think they should ask regarding to his time with Tom Brady, and he spent a lot of time with Tom Brady before he was drafted, and to the time he spent winning 3 Super Bowls, when it went to 4, won 3 that were there for the Randy Moss ordeal, and then finished his coaching career out there in Oakland before he was let go by John Gruden. Wanted to get that out there. And of course, you just tuning in on Blake Anthony. This is Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com for all the 65,000 following. And check us out every day here on Bucks Report with all the other guys, the writers and the shows here on Bucks Report. Please make sure to reach out to them. If you don't know what any of those shows are, I'll give it to you right here. Again, you can see all these great shows here on Bucks Report at any time. And you check those out because these guys give 110% all the time, and just check them out. So with that being said, phone lines is open. Josh, I know you were trying to call. Coach, we were talking to earlier, if you want to call in, you can as well. Coach Bell, 727-475-1882. If I'm on the line and I hang up the call, I'll call you back. Or you just call me back when we get off, because I can take 2 calls at once, but it's just not wise to do that. Sports Talk 49, you're live. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Blake Anthony. It's Mr. Ray Kennedy. How are you today, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Ray? How you doing, sir?
Oh, it's just warm down here, and there's more clouds coming. We're in that summertime pattern. Everything's coming out of the east, and it just makes it so much. It's so awesome to live right here in Florida this time of year. Loving the show today, brother. I had a question for you, though.
Yep. What you got for me, Ray?
Why you ghosting Peter and me, man? When you gonna come over? When we gonna come over? We can start doing some production planning for this upcoming season. You ghosted on us last weekend.
Yeah, I gotta get over there with you guys. Get there in the pool side, jump in there, do it live from the pool instead of being live from Ferg's. We can be live from the pool.
Yeah, I need some help, man. Because without the kids, with the wife and kids out of town, I'm the only one doing cannonballs. You know, Mr. Smooth, Peter Blake over in the corner there. He's just chilling out, and I need someone to help stir the pool up with me. But I had a serious question for you though. Did you see the comments that Melvin Gordon made about? And I hadn't even really been following it so closely as to see now. But the comments he made about leaving the Chargers and the fact, and we knew this going back to last season, how terribly represented the Chargers were in the Coliseum since 2017, and they're going into that brand new $5 billion whatever it is stadium this year they're sharing now with the Los Angeles Rams. Do you think, obviously, a team improving play and having a rookie quarterback can make a difference, but how fast do you think them fans are going to start coming back to San Diego, or not San Diego? I'm sorry, to the Chargers.
I mean, it's tough to say. I know San Diego was one of I know a lot of people always made jokes of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers having blackout games. Again, if you don't know who the caller is, it's Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy with Bucs Report with a cup of Ray and gives a whole bunch of great articles. Ray the historian. But to answer your question, Ray, I guess winning cures all. I mean, the Rams just played in the Super Bowl, so LA should be excited about, having a team there and things like that. It's just LA's just never really been a town, a football town. It's a basketball town. I'm a Carolinian, and football is really not the huge thing there. It's basketball, so I can kind of understand that a little bit. But I guess it would come down to promotions or finding different ways to get fans to want to get more interested into the teams. I guess it's kind of like your conversations that you have when you're talking about the Tampa Bay Rays. You can't say that they suck anymore. I mean, there was a series away from going to the World Series. I mean, that's not an excuse, and you still didn't have fans all season, and they were winning. So it's tough to say how you're going to get fans in the stands.
I'll tell you what, though, brutal for the Chargers. I mean, they play in the same division with the world champion Chiefs, the Denver Broncos, who, depending on what they're doing this year, keep trending. And then you got the Oakland Raiders. I mean, it's a brutal division, but, Herbert's going to have his work cut out for him this season. They just drafted a rookie quarterback. So, and, they've been fun to watch. We've all been watching the sports, these replays and stuff, and they played a game from 2 years ago, and Phillip Rivers was just lighting it up, and but then they moved from San Diego to Los Angeles. They're trying to get that thing going. I think for them, it's just a matter of getting in that stadium. I don't want to take up the entire show, brother. I just want to reach out and say the next time we get that full-site production meeting going, we want you there.
Well, speaking of, when are you guys getting together again?
I don't know. I mean, we're pretty. I'm flexible on them. I got a little bit of work to get done this weekend, a couple errands to run, but I'm flexible. So you reach out to we're all everyone out there, everyone in the Bucs Report group especially. But I always share on Cup of Ray on Sunday morning at 10 a.m., hopefully 9 a.m. But we're always chatting. So maybe even this weekend something might pop up. But if you get any time, just let us know. We can plan something last minute all the time. Keeping that social distance, or at least being respectful of each other's right to be able to continue to stay safe and all that. I won't go into that diatribe, but anyway, yeah, reach out, brother.
I can do something with you guys either tomorrow or Sunday if you like.
Oh, well, you get back to Peter. He's the man in charge. We'll talk. That'll be. Are you talking about what I think you might be talking about? We don't want to say anything here, or you just rip it.
No, I can get with you guys either Saturday morning or Sunday morning. You guys just get with me and see what time's best for you guys. Just remember, I get off in the morning, so just give me a couple hours to sleep.
Hey, can I take up one more second of your time?
Oh, go ahead.
Just a quick shout out. I dropped an article today. I don't like to do self promotion, but I do it anyway. I dropped an article today. Congratulations to the Buccaneers being selected for the 6th time in 8 years this year for the #1 fan day experience. And that's a vote they do in stadium each season, and that's voted on not just by the home fans, but by the away fans. And the Bucs won it again. They were just notified yesterday they won it again for the 6th time in 8 years. So, now we got things going crazy. We got a team to go to. We got the Super Bowl coming here, 55 here in about whenever it's going to be. So it's going to be a great upcoming year. So we're all looking forward to it, and the Bucs Report is going to be there to bring it all home.
Yep, I agree, Ray. It's going to be a fun time in Tampa Bay, especially with the Super Bowl coming here, and hopefully the Tampa Bay Buccaneers complete the first team to play in their own stadium for a Super Bowl.
Hey, it's going to be a fun weekend if you're late. Let's come over to the house. I'm just kidding, man. Great show, Blake. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep, see you, Ray.
All right, bye.
Yep. Just called. Let me call him back. It was a 631 number. Let me give you a call back because I know I missed it. We will give you a call here. Calling that caller now. It's Blake Anthony with Sports Talk 49. You calling you back.
Hey, great. Hey, Blake, this is Deshaun. How are we doing?
Hey, what's going on, Deshaun? How you doing this evening?
Pretty good. Working out like everybody, trying to see how the quarantine eases will be going for us. I was just watching the show, and I definitely wanted to reach out. I've been catching those interviews and some of the screens from BucsReport.com, and I just have this good feeling about Tampa's defense, and I don't really want to feel too. I'm as a Buccaneers fan, you never want to get too high on it. I'm not even worried about offense or getting too high in overall offense because the concern for me is really, defense is going to win a championship for us, and if our defense can put teams in situations where they're forced to pass, and then we can let dogs loose, that's essentially, and rushing coverage is going to work together anyway. Everybody knows that. I think we have a lot of pieces that are going to be dynamic. I'm looking at Todd Bowles, and I'm really wondering what can he do with the rotational drop-offs. And he said something in that interview about Vea that was very important. I don't know if everybody caught it. Maybe you caught it. Did you notice how he said Vea's snaps were going to go up instead of being rotated off as much as he was?
Correct. I heard that. That's why I said I wanted to play key parts in that and see who pay attention, which I'm sure you would because you always pay attention to small detail. And I think not too long ago.
Very important.
Yep, and I think I pointed out a long time ago about how many people played percentages of the snaps, and I think the only person that played 100% of the snaps all season was Levante David, which he played. I think it was a 99.7% of total defensive snaps all year long, and that is a good sign because Vea missed a whole lot of sacks last season. Boy, he missed a lot of sacks, and he was there. And
steps away. I mean, just maybe an arm length. That he missed a ton for someone his size, and then to be back in the system again. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be honest. There was people say no. I mean, we get into some disputes. I know you and Peter Blake get into some disputes about Ndamukong Suh. There's 2 or 3 drives that to be honest with you, call it what you want. Somebody else might have made the mistake, but Suh was out of his gap. We're talking this 3-4 defense. It is gap assignment. It's a gap of responsibility. And there's been a couple of times where Suh, against the Falcons, I want to say he was out of alignment on that goal line. They were able to punch it in. He didn't get the blame, so to speak, for it. But whether you're watching all 22 or you just know football, you knew that his gap responsibility, he was out of position. But he's done things, and he's great stopping the run. And this team seems to me very eerie of. If people want to liken it to the championship Buccaneers, I don't liken it to them. I'm actually likening our defensive front and our back end to that Giants team that won the Super Bowl when they had JPP and they had that whole NASCAR front and they were able to rotate guys in, and each guy brought something different to the table. That's how I look at our front right now.
That's absolutely. His versatility is what's going to win you. What's going to win you games up front. You can move guys in and out, and that's basically what the Giants did that game. They took the ends and put them inside because the guards were mismatched playing up against those faster ends, and then you had Hall of Famer Michael Strahan on the outside and Justin Tuck on the inside and JPP on the outside and Osi and Minura. That defensive line was ridiculous with the names Matthias Kiwanuka. It was just depth all over the place on that team. You could slice it any way you want to, and I think Todd Bowles is trying to get to that level again, picking up guys like Quentin Bell, who has very fast off the edge and has a lot of versatility. He'll be great in spying mobile quarterbacks, I should say, and things like that. So having options is going to be really key on defense, and especially I think the front end played really well all year. It was the secondary trying to mesh together with the I guess exit of Vernon Hargraves. The secondary got better. It seemed the communication level was a huge drop off when he was there to when he was gone. But and also on the Suh thing, you're right. There was a lot of plays where he was out of play. The quarterback run in week 1 with the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. That was week 1, right? Yeah, where they ran in. Suh was out of place. It was a stunt. Vea went over top. Yeah. Suh got blocked. He got overpowered and couldn't get to his gap, and the quarterback walked in the end zone. That was Ndamukong Suh. Missed his gap. And there was a lot of times where quarterbacks were running, and Suh did not try to pursue the quarterback in the foot race. He just kind of let the next guy get him, which I kind of see, sometimes what the Rams were talking about when he would take plays off. He would go all in certain run plays, but he kind of take plays off on passing plays. And I think another time me and Peter Blake went into a lot of it because a lot of people said that Shaq Barrett got all those sacks because of of Sue. So I took a step further and literally looked at all Shaq Barrett's sacks and saw all the plays that Sue was double teamed, and Sue was only double teamed, I think maybe it was 3 times out of the 19.5 sacks. So clearly Sue wasn't the reason why he was getting sacks. I mean, Vea was double teamed mostly. Maybe it was because of that, or probably just because Shaq Barrett was beating his man. But I get what you're saying, Deshaun, about Ndamukong Suh, and he had plays where, he was off in his game and things like that. But he is older. I don't expect him to be the Detroit Lions guy. And I do like him. I've always liked him.
Be that at all.
Yeah.
I like them too, and I like him too. And listen, I respect that he's a veteran, and I know that coaches are going to respect that he's a veteran. And to be honest with you, we can be just really blunt, and people don't want to hear it. They would love to hear that these guys in the NFL that are getting paid millions are going, balls to the wall every single time. And to be honest with you, a defensive tackle that is seasoned and has been in the league for a while, he's coming in and he's doing his job. He's making sure that his job is done, his gap responsibility, and overall, I'll say that he's done that more than he's not done that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's successful in doing his job. Now, when the extras that you get from a Vita Vea as opposed to a Sue, when you look at there's a run and you see Vea 7 yards down the field, you get Nassib that was like 7-8 yards down the field with JPP. You don't really get that out of Sue because Sue's more hunkering. And I mean, he looked like Vea's weight when he was running those touchdowns. He looks big and stiff. He can do what a 3-4 defense is asking their 3 and their 5 techniques to do. That he can do that. So there's no problem or issue because he can clearly do that. And if you get anything extra out of him, great. And guess what? He's not the same vicious Detroit Lion dude, but he still brings it. And it's very clear that if we can have some depth, because that's my only concern right now. My real concern is depth. I like Kevin Minter, but the fact is Kevin Minter's an older depth person. So if he pops out there and something happens, who's behind him? But now what I do like with the Buccaneers and what we've done is we're getting a bunch of, for lack of a better person, I'm going to say Mika Fitzpatrick, Troy Polamalu type hybrids. We got a bunch of strong safeties with heavy laden with all these strong safeties that can also come down in the box. We're a 3-4 defense. We're going to be a nickel all the time, most of the time. Look at our division. We're almost all the time going to be a nickel. We will be able to dictate with our personnel mismatches, and I really feel that way on offense and defense. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, offense, I don't even think we really need to go on the versatility that you have on offense. You have options all over the place. The question should only be in each week with the offense is how many points you're going to score. Now, if we're going to talk about the defense, is especially with the safeties, because Todd Bowles' theory, stop the run. You would want to get ahead, force them to pass. Now you have rotation at nickels covering these tight ends and these slot receivers with Antoine Winfield Jr., Jordan Whiteheads, and I don't know if Justin Evans will come back. Don't know. I haven't really heard anything. Arian said the same thing he said before. He's scheduled on track to come back. That's a vanilla answer. I don't really trust it. So you have a lot of versatility there. Yeah, so.
Those are two guys. I'm going to say this to you, Blake, and if anybody needs to call or listen, I'm going to say this. There's two guys right now that are on the roster that getting paychecks, and, they're in the tub. And Peter Blake says it on his show all the time, and, whether a couple other people from Bucs Report say, listen, you can't make the club in the tub.
Nope.
Justin Evans is as great as potential is. It's just that it's potential. He has the potential to be great. And guess what? Our linebacker that we're also paying, what's his name?
Kendall Beckwith.
He got injured with the foot. Kendall Beckwith. He was up and coming. He was going.
He was
to
a
be
stud,
great,
man.
And
He was a stud.
Wish it on anyone. He was hands down a stud. You could see it emerging. Unfortunate accident, but I really feel that the Bucs are just trying to kind of hold on to him and be nice in that regard because, dude, is he ever coming back? There's like an indefinite. And guess what? When we get to this point, and it's unfortunate, but here's a part of the Patriots way that when it's time to go for a championship, we're cutting dead weight. And I don't want to speak ill of him like that. I don't know the man. I realize he has a family and everything else. But from a sports perspective only, not just not that, just from a sports and a winning perspective, those two guys and maybe someone else, they're kind of dead weight. I don't know what cap hit they'll be or not, but they're injured and they're not going to play this season. So if we could pick up a Freeman, a McCoy, or whomever that these people, the pundits are saying that they may drop to us. I don't even know if we're really looking for running back, or if we could pick up a safety or somebody if the Jets lose their mind and are not, whatever that's out there. If we have the opportunity to pick it up versus holding two guys that are probably not going to play for you, and you have, because look at Justin Evans right now. Is he going to play this year? Because look how many people you have fighting for his position. I'm going to say that Winfield has one of those safety positions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If the nickel spot or somewhere.
So look at it. When I'm looking at nickel, I'm seeing, to be honest with you, I'm seeing Davis and Dean outside. We got the two Ds. We got double Ds on the outside.
Double Ds.
And we got Bunting in the middle. We got the double Ds on the outside and Bunting right there. He's playing nickel corner. And then what? Come on. Our backers are not changing because they can run all over. The front's going to do what the front's going to do. We can rotate there where we can bring in an Anthony Nelson to get a little more push. Probably Vea's going to stay in, rest Sue a little bit. And all types of rotations can go in there because JPP can drop inside. Golson can drop inside, even though he's not really a pass rusher or whatever. But, we got those guys can drop inside. We can bring quicker guys off the edge. Those things can happen. But what happens at that other safety spot? And is it a spot waiting? You got Dixon, that kid that was already injured. He's another Evans. They were so high on him, but he's injured. Yes, we can be as high as you want to be on a guy, but he's injured. That's the opportunity for somebody else. And there's a lot of kids, young like Mozzie Wilkins.
Yep.
Where does he play at? What happened to the D-back / quarterback / receiver that they put the quarterback in the last game and just ran him a little bit? I felt like, that was a little bit of BA saying, hey, I want to have some change of pace here for you guys. But obviously it was late and it just looked like he was trying something. But where are these other guys? There's positions, there's people that we signed, and there's availability in position. And to me, that's a clear open position. And then where we go from depth. Because if we got a rookie starting, have a true veteran that you would really say, hey, I'm so confident in this veteran? Because I was saying for a long time we should have went out and got a veteran back there just to settle this young group. But maybe we don't need a veteran that much. We just need somebody who can come out here and ball.
True. And they can learn on the fly and spend a lot of time with Bowles and learn how they do everything. I agree, and I think I'm going to make a bold prediction. I said what he said, like you said, the snap count of Vea is going to go up, which is probably Vea is probably going to play more of that end position and get more of a pass rush, because with the addition of Khalil Davis from Nebraska running that fast 40 time, I think some rotations are going to go in there. And I'm going to go on the limb and say this early before it even comes out, just like I did with Mike Divinity Jr., if you guys saw me call that at the East-West Shrine game.
I did see you call that at the Shrine game.
Yeah. I'm going to go on the limb and say this right now. I hope y'all listening. Khalil Davis will take William Golston's job. Khalil Davis, let me say it again for the people in the back. The rookie Khalil Davis will take William Golston's job.
You know what? And I would. You know what? I'm not. My son has said this to me for years now. Every year he comes in, and I'll play him in Madden, and I'll get a tackle or something, and he'll be like, Golston's still on your team? Why is he still on the team? He would just say that, and I'll get upset, but it's like his numbers don't really say he should still be here. And it's like, are we really picking up personnel that horribly that we haven't replaced him yet? And he's not so bad, but it's like there has to be. Everyone else has picked up better pieces except for us when it comes to his regard. Now, he has been consummate to what he does, and there's going to be a team for him, out there. But I could definitely see us cutting some salary right there, especially if we truly need it, when we can pick up a rookie that's going to do exactly. So I'm going to get off and listen to everybody else and go through the comments, but I'm definitely with you with that prediction. Not anything knock on Golston. It's just that I think his time here has kind of spent, and he's on the negative side when you start hitting the age group. I'm not sure of his age, but he's been here long enough that if he was going to be anything more than what he is, which is rotational in depth,
he needs to be paid as such.
Come in and play well, and he's getting paid extremely well. I think we're paying. That's my issue right now with Tampa from a salary cap perspective. We're paying depth way too well.
Yep.
And that's a losing team mantra because you have to pay people to stay. How we got Donovan Smith paid the way because you can't risk losing him. I don't want to go there because my day is going well into Friday. But it's what it is. I mean, I'll listen, and of course, I'm Buccaneer through and through, and I'll be listening throughout the weekend and the rest of the time until we get football back. So, go Bucks, Sports 49. Great job, Blake.
Yep. Thanks, Sean. As always, appreciate you calling in, brother. Have a good day.
No problem.
Love that guy, man. He's always bringing it 110%. 365. Well, we got 4 minutes. We got about 4 minutes left. If somebody else wants to call in, by all means, we can do another phone call. You can listen to me ramble. How you like the background? You guys like my virtual background? You like me to just go back to just me on the screen? I tried to do it like ESPN with the things on the side and things like that, and then do this one just for phone calls and stuff like that. What did he say? Yeah, I got Khalil Davis taking over for William Golston because Khalil Davis offers more in the pass rush, and he has a lot of tread left on the tires. Didn't have to play a whole lot, and is on the upside. Sportstat 49, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Josh Allen.
Josh, what's going on, brother?
Not much. First of all, I want to know about this production meeting at Ray's house. I could definitely use one of those. A night away from kids, wife, couple beers, talk shop. I'm down for that too. Sign me up, Ray.
All right. So when I talk to them, I'm gonna add you in there, Ray, Peter. I know you guys were watching the show. You hear Josh chiming in. He wants in.
Definitely, for sure. And then I just wanted to touch on those Todd Bowles comments. Deshaun had a lot to say, and there's a lot to go over with such short time. I can't get to all of it. But Todd Bowles, the one thing that stood out to me was continuity. Continuity on that defense. They didn't lose anyone key. They didn't bring in, anyone too big to integrate to the system. They're bringing back pretty much that same defense. And, after another year in Todd Bowles' system, I just see nothing but flourishment for them. That front seven, as Deshaun spoke on, as you spoke on as well, is, one of the best in the game. Especially with Vita getting more snaps. You've watched the tape and you've seen how they performed last year, and that was with JPP missing half the season. You got to expect more. I don't think Shaq's going to be the sack leader again. I think there's going to be a little bit more focus to stop him. But I definitely see this defense taking leaps and bounds from last year, which was the number one run defense. Now the cornerbacks and secondary, I've hammered this all offseason long, is where we're really going to need to see a growth and development from them. And if they come out the gate swinging, I mean, the sky's the limit for this team, this defense. One thing that I have to say, too, about the offense, we all know the offense is good. The offensive line shores up the right tackle. Those guards and Ryan Jensen are my biggest concern, how they're going to hold up against interior pressure. Because if you go back, and you mentioned that Giants Super Bowl, and you go back and watch those tapes, Tom Brady's biggest weakness is interior pressure. Getting guys coming at him up the middle, making him uncomfortable, stepping in the pocket, moving around like he does so well. So that's the one thing I'm watching for this season is how those guards step up and really keep Brady a nice clean pocket to throw.
Absolutely, and it's the same thing for Drew Brees and a lot of other pocket quarterbacks. They have to be an area where you can step up and make throws, and if it's not there, then they're forced to get off their spot and move around, and then that's where you start to get into trouble. Eyes come down, you miss receivers getting open because you're evading the rush, and then the ends can get to you, and it just becomes a mess. So you're absolutely right. The interior of the line is going to be the triangle with them three, the guard and the center and the two guards are going to be key in Tom Brady's success here in this passing offense with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, more so than I think the right tackle position. I know that was a big thing that we need to shore up. I love Wirfs. I love, what Haig brings with the scheme versatility. But just having OJ and Gronk out there, I feel like that's going to help the tackles more so than anything. But just that interior guys you're going to need. And I love that Brady's already working out with Jensen, getting a feel for him and all that stuff. I know you got to wrap up the show, but I just want to comment, throw that in there. You're doing a great job, and yeah, keep me posted about this production meeting.
You got to do production meeting. All right, Josh. Appreciate you, man. We'll get up with you. We're looking for. Does anybody? You got anything else coming out for fans to look forward to? If you not, you want to say it and let us know when we're coming out. If you got anything new coming up.
I just put up my Javon Hagan interview. Article that should be up today. Mazzy should be up sometime this weekend. And then tonight on Peter's show, I have another interview with another player that I'll tease. So tune in for that. And other than that, I'm on Twitter, Joshua_C_Allen. Follow me there. And thanks for your time, and have a great day, man.
You too, Josh. Love having you.
Perfect. See you.
There we go. And that pretty much wraps us up. Let me clear everything and get everything straight before I get out of here with you guys. Like I said, I appreciate it. Again, love having everybody here. Love having Deshaun. Love having all these guys here calling in and giving your 2 cents. And again, of course, with the Tom Shaw, tweet me some questions that you have for me to give to him and things like that, and I'll be more than happy to put that out there. We'll end this as we always do, and we'll get out of here. Check me out my next time. Hopefully I'll have the Tom Shaw interview up for you with some questions asked for you guys and things like that, and we'll get into more things, breaking down more things about Tom Brady that other people and other sites can't give you the information on Tom Brady besides the vanilla stuff that you already know. He's a hard worker. He's going to, ask everybody to play on that same level. I'm going to try to get you guys some more in-depth stuff coming from somebody with more than enough credible information to give it out. That's something I've been trying to get more into, just like Josh is getting to more interactions with players and coaches and things like that, especially when it comes to continuity and things like that with the team and how things are going to work and the verbiage and things like that. So that's really my area of expertise and things like that, especially breaking down game tape. But Deshaun Tisdale, I think Cap will be better not helping out Dotson. Old man Dotson. I got nothing bad to say about the guy. Undrafted guy, played that long, played that well. Got nothing bad to say about him. But we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless. Follow Bucks Report on social media at www.bucksreport.com, Facebook 65,000. Follow me on Twitter, BlakeAnthony49, and follow me on Instagram, BlakeAnthony49 on IG as well. And I'll follow you, and you can ask me guys questions that for Tom or whatever it is we can talk about if there's some stuff, because I'm really good at tape and all that stuff like that. And fire those cannons. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good day.
Mike here from Tires to Go, and today I'm going to inform you about the amazing tools that Tires to Go provide to get the customers what they need. As you know, we have the real same as cash, but we also have Snap financing. We use Snap pretty much to provide the customers the same equipment as they were buying cash on payments. Isn't that amazing? Pretty much what we do, you come indoors, we get you the application right away, we'll get you approved, and we'll get you the safe, affordable tires that you need, and pay it off in 3 months. Simple, easy, affordable. Why not come to Tires to Go, where you get the real, same as cash.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach.
Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast, Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand, every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more.